So now we've got the basics of reading music down. We know where to play the notes, we know what notes to play, and we know when they're supposed to happen and how long they last because we understand rhythmic notation. Those are the basics of reading music. That's the beginnings of you being literate and reading and being able to write music if you so desire. Knowing what note to play, where it is, how long it lasts, and when to play it. Another word of advice on reading music. Just like when you read words on a page, you want to be able to see what the first word is, the second word, the third word, etc. That's how you start reading. That's how you first read something that you've never read before. You read one word at a time in order. You start at the left and you go to the right. Attack one line, come back over, attack the next line. However, eventually when you read, you realize that you don't just read one word at a time, you read phrases and then sentences. You read a whole complete thought. You want to try to get to the point where that's what you're doing with music as well. You want to be able to see a whole phrase. You want to be able to not just see one note and you're looking at the next note, and the next note, and the next note, and the next note, and the next note. You want to be able to look and see a little bit ahead. You want to see at least one note ahead at first. You want to see the first note and then be looking at the next note while you're playing that first note, and then when you play that next note, you're looking ahead to the next note. So you're always one note ahead of where you're playing. Then get one measure ahead of where you're playing so that you can look at the first measure and go, aha, I see what that is. Start playing it and then start looking ahead to the next measure so that while you're playing that first measure, you're looking at the next measure, and then the next measure, and the next measure, rest, etc. Eventually, you want to be able to get to the point where you can see whole phrases ahead of time, just like you can see whole sentences. You look at the general structure of a sentence, you can see there's the noun and the verb, there's any given articles or adjectives or adverbs that are in there, and you can see the whole structure of it so that it makes sense as an idea. That's what sentences are. They are complete structured ideas, just like a melody is too, or a melodic phrase is a complete idea. You don't want to hear Now, that was technically almost right, but there's no life to that. It's completely lifeless. It's not an organized idea. It's not a structured statement. It was just a series of notes that I read one after the other and played. Eventually, you want to grasp that any series of notes is a musical statement, so that you want to be able to see whole phrases and realize it's a piece of music that has life. Etc. So, the idea here is that you want to be able to expand your conceptual abilities. You want to be able to see that first note and then play it, but while you've already got that note taken care of, start looking at the next note. So you want to be able to look ahead a little bit, and you greatly increase your ability to sight read music and play music when you increase your conceptual scope, when you can start to see ahead further and further while you're playing. Here, you're looking ahead over here. And then when you play this, you're looking ahead over here. And then when you play this, you're looking ahead over here. That's the idea behind reading music.